pages of this stuff, and the two of them just looked at me and going like, "We just want you to be good in this. You were so supportive. You're like, this character's great, the scenes.
And you're the gun, you're
and I think
the
props and the stuff, putting the gun in your head and all this stuff. And they were just so kind to me. It was just like, because it was a lot of words. It was
Frank,
a lot of words.
in fairness, we didn't know you yet. If we knew you already, we would have been asked.
Serious stuff.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I never thought of this until you told the story. I think if I were to think back on my time on Supernatural, I have one big regret, and that is this. At the time, in season
Writing rude words on the back of my Range Rover.
No, I love that. You're not doing enough. I was dating my now wife, mother of my kids. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
I had gone down to LA. I had a couple days off, or it was the weekend, I forget what kind of day of the week it was. But on the way, she was driving me to the airport to fly back to Vancouver. And on the way to the airport, I get a text that Kim is in the hospital. And Genevieve was going like, "Do you want to stay?" And I think I had to work that day. I think I was flying in at 6 a.m. to land at 9 to film at noon or whatever. And she's like, "Do you want to stay?" And I was like, No, I'm off in a couple days. Like, I'll come back and go visit him. By the time I landed in Vancouver, he had passed. I wish I had stayed.
He was just an amazing guy. He was something else. And look, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've known you since you were a lot younger. And the truth is, it sounds so corny, and this show is a family. This is a place where we went to work with 150 of our friends for over, a decade and a half. I did nearly a decade of it, and I think the energy that he instilled upon how to behave on a set was absolutely the reason why anybody could walk on that show and be treated like gold. You could succeed. If you came with your A game, you were looked after and you were carried. And if you were crap, you were looked after and you were carried. I swear to God, there's a couple of people that didn't, I won't ever say what it is, but didn't make it beyond a certain small amount of an arc, and they just didn't have the right thing or didn't get it or whatever.
Yeah, or the right attitude. We even had people that recurred and returned who maybe they weren't as solid of an actor as a Mark Shepard or a Mark Pellegrino type, but they were good enough and they were kind. And they showed up and they wanted to work, and they wanted to laugh, and they knew their lines, and they had their marks, and they showed up on time, and there was no bullshit. It was like, okay, we can work with this, and so let's keep
There was a trust element that was mind-blowing, and I've worked on some amazing sets in my time, but it was special, man, to know that every single person in that crew had my back every single day. When we did the end of season 8, when you and I would do it hours. Right, in between shots, you've got to move lights, you've got to move cameras, you've got to do stuff, and they don't have to be quiet. They're working all day. They've been there 3 hours before us. They're leaving 3 hours after us.
And it was a long trip. It was like an hour away from town on some like beautiful lake that feels so
On the outside, when we went to the stage, when we came back to do the interiors, and we did the interiors in there, they didn't make a sound between takes for 2 days because the boys are being serious, we'll support them. And that's how we got through those pages and pages of stuff.
It was a couple of 2 or 3 days or something.
It was 2 or 3 days.
And then Jensen and Elena come in.
It was nuts. It was so, but you see all the gag reels, right? You see how silly everything gets. And the reason why the gag reels are fun is because we work hard. So one mistake.
Never forget. Yeah. I will say this, a lot of y'all know Mark and have known him many times or met him many times, and a lot of y'all can agree with me, he doesn't shut the fuck up ever.
So I'm way through 6 heart attacks, trust me.
Other than the 2 or 3 day span where we were in that chapel, and it was before the AKF campaigns, it was what Sam was going through in a very different way was similar to what Jared kind of had gone through and was going through. And so I went to a weird place. It's the only time in my 480 episodes of television I've ever listened to music during, in between scenes. And Mark is tied up, you're my Marley Moose and all that bit. And Like, usually when you're tied up during a scene, they call cut and they move the cameras, it takes 20 minutes, and you go like, untie me, I'm going to my trailer to pee and like have some water. He just stayed there and was quiet the whole time because I just sat there in the corner and he was just there for me. So kudos to you, Marcia.
And